As above, so below, mind over matter, the power in your hands. Imagine discovering that the entire cosmos is mirrored within you, your body, your mind, even your struggles. From the spiral of a galaxy to the branching of your neurons, the same fractal patterns seem to repeat across every scale of existence. If you ever feel stuck or powerless, weighed down by fear, doubt, or limiting beliefs, that inner sense of lead is exactly what this guide will help you begin to transmute. This idea rests on an ancient teaching, the Hermetic phrase, as above, so below, as within, so without. It reminds us that the forces shaping the stars also shape the hidden patterns of our inner world. This video will show how your personal growth isn't just self-help. It's a sacred alignment with universal laws where inner work ripples outward into real change. And when you start to recognize those mirrors between your own life and the cosmos, a deeper blueprint of reality begins to reveal itself. The ancient blueprint of reality has fascinated seekers for thousands of years. Ancient traditions taught that the universe is held together by repeating patterns, and those same patterns guide the shape of your own life. This is the Hermetic principle of correspondence, the idea that what exists on one level of reality reflects itself on every other. The Egyptians, Greek philosophers, and later mystics all pointed to this blueprint as evidence that the human journey is never separate from the cosmos. It mirrors it. Some dismiss as above, so below as just poetic metaphor, but both ancient thinkers and modern science show otherwise. Pythagoras believed that number is the principle of all things, and he uncovered harmonies in music that echoed principles observed in the movement of planets. Centuries later, mathematician Benoit Mandelbrot revealed how fractals, shapes generated from simple recursive formulas, create infinite complexity. His work demonstrated that coastlines, clouds, and countless living systems follow the same repeating mathematics. Both examples give this Hermetic idea a kind of scientific grounding. Patterns don't just resemble one another, they share the same underlying structure. You can see it in nature. The spiral curve of a nautilus shell reflects the shape of a spiral galaxy, both expressing the Fibonacci sequence in physical form. The branching of neurons in your brain parallels the flow of rivers feeding into a delta. These are not coincidences, but expressions of a principle. Energy and matter tend to organize themselves through recurring, efficient patterns that repeat across scale. Spiral and fractal geometries are simply the universe's shorthand for building complexity. Sacred geometry gives us a language to name and observe these connections without reducing them to mere metaphor. The same ratios and shapes appear in temple architecture, in tree leaves, in seashells, and in the movements of celestial bodies. It is less about cause and effect and more about recognition. Reality arranges itself through a consistent set of principles, and once you see them, they appear everywhere. If these same patterns weave galaxies, rivers, and the cells of your body together, then they may also shape your thoughts, emotions, and inner world. And that raises a deeper question. What happens if the blueprint of the universe is not only written into your body, but also into the way your mind creates reality? The inner universe of thought and matter invites us to consider a radical possibility, that consciousness is not simply a byproduct of physical chemistry, but the foundation beneath it. Most of us grow up believing the brain produces mind, that neurons create thought, and that matter always comes first. Yet many traditions, and even some modern philosophers and scientists, argue the reverse. In this long-standing metaphysical position, seen in Hermetic teachings, the writings of Plotinus and Paracelsus, and echoed by thinkers like David Bohm, consciousness is primary, and the material world unfolds within it. From this view, the brain is not the source of mind, but its instrument for expression in the physical world. This perspective isn't foreign to daily experience. An imagined design must exist before blueprints are drawn. A melody must be heard inwardly before it is written. A vision must arise before a building stands. Consciousness gives rise first, and form follows after. The ancients suggested this principle operates on a universal scale. Everything material is an expression of an unseen order of thought, intention, and possibility. Your heart plays an essential role in this invisible dialogue between inner and outer. Beyond pumping blood, traditions and modern research both describe the heart as generating an electromagnetic field that extends beyond the physical body. This field shifts with your emotional state, meaning gratitude, fear, or compassion each radiate outward in ways that influence how you engage with the world. Seen this way, the heart becomes more than a vital organ. It is an energetic center shaping the environment around you. Carl Jung provided another language for this connection through his idea of synchronicity. He described meaningful coincidences that link inner states with external events, as though both arise from a shared unconscious pattern. In practice, that means your recurring emotional patterns can show up as repeated life events, and recognizing the pattern is the first step toward change. The implication is profound. Your inner conflicts, beliefs, and intentions do not stay hidden inside you. They echo outward. A repeated argument with a colleague may mirror an internal struggle for self-acceptance. Ongoing financial setbacks may correspond to deeper beliefs about worth and security. When seen in this light, daily challenges stop appearing like accidents and begin to reveal themselves as messages directing you toward transformation. And this sets the stage for a deeper question. If our inner raw material constantly shapes what shows up in life, then how do we refine it into something more valuable? The true meaning of alchemical transformation begins not in the furnace of a laboratory, but in the inner life of the seeker. For centuries, alchemy was mischaracterized as a crude attempt to change lead into gold through chemical means. Yet, historical evidence and the writings of figures like Paracelsus reveal that much of alchemy was symbolic, using metallurgical language to describe an internal process of refining the self. Texts and practices often coded spiritual insights within images of flasks, furnaces, and metals, pointing not to external riches, but to the pursuit of wisdom, balance, and self-mastery. When alchemists spoke of lead, they described the weight of fear, doubt, and limiting beliefs. These states constrict growth in the same way that lead, as the heaviest common metal, resists movement. Gold, by contrast, symbolized qualities of the highest refinement: enduring peace, wisdom gained through struggle, and mastery of one's thoughts and choices. Transformation meant transmuting the dense inner lead of suffering into the radiant gold of an integrated and liberated self. The phrase solvet coagula, dissolve and coagulate, captured the essence of this process, first breaking down rigid old patterns, then recombining the fragments into a more unified and balanced whole. This work always emphasized intention, vision, and imagination. Just as a sculptor envisions a finished statue within unshaped stone, or a gardener plants seeds with faith in their potential, alchemy taught that outcomes appear first in the inner realm before they manifest outwardly. Hermetic tradition framed this principle as law. What you cultivate within consciousness eventually echoes in the material world. Inner abundance often precedes outer opportunity, and self-compassion frequently reshapes how relationships unfold. Laboratory experiments were not meaningless distractions. They gave alchemists ways to support themselves materially while entering into meditative practice. The precision of heating, distilling, and blending mirrored the discipline required in balancing emotions and thoughts. Watching a substance change form became a lesson in patience and a reflection of inner progress. Unlike modern interpretations that strip alchemy of its depth, the ancients never reduced it to material gain. External results mattered, but the primary aim remained inner transformation. Recognizing this transforms how we approach our own growth. Alchemy shows that meaningful change begins inwardly, with the purification of thought and emotion. The question that follows is practical. If transformation depends on inner alignment, then what rhythms and tools help us sustain that alignment in daily life? Knowing this, we turn next to the patterns that shape both personal experience and the wider cosmos. Have you noticed how your energy ebbs and flows in ways that feel connected to the world around you? Morning often brings clarity, afternoons sometimes dip into fatigue, and evenings carry a calm that signals closure to the day. These cycles are not random. They mirror the wider rhythms of Earth spinning day after day, circling the sun each year, and moving through even larger cosmic patterns that span centuries. Yet modern life can pull us away from these natural timings. Artificial lighting, irregular work schedules, and digital demands disrupt the body's circadian rhythm, leaving many people feeling out of balance, both inwardly and outwardly. The link between time cycles and human life runs deeper than convenience. Seasonal change has always served as a mirror for human development. Spring suggests birth and beginnings, summer reflects growth and productivity, autumn marks harvest and wisdom, and winter calls for rest and renewal. These aren't simply poetic comparisons, they reflect biological shifts. Circadian rhythms govern hormone release, cellular repair, and cognition, ensuring your body stays synchronized with cycles of light and dark. Other traditions trace this correspondence further. In Hermetic and esoteric mappings, not in medical terms, but symbolic frameworks, the zodiac is connected to both archetypes and body systems. Aries, for example, relates to the head and initiation, while Pisces corresponds to the feet and completion. These associations offer symbolic ways to notice how cycles influence energy, behavior, and perspective across the year. Lunar phases and planetary movements can be viewed through the same lens, not as strict causal forces, but as archetypal patterns that highlight when certain qualities are more present or visible in personal experience. Birth and death also participate in this cyclical rhythm. Cells in your body constantly dissolve and regenerate. Stars collapse and scatter their material, seeding the birth of new systems. Even sleep reflects this fractal cycle. A small death each night, followed by morning rebirth, a rhythm of renewal that sustains life at every scale. On a practical level, you can reconnect with these natural patterns in simple, grounded ways. First, protect your most creative hours by identifying when you feel at your sharpest and reserving that time twice a week for meaningful work. Second, align your sleep as closely as possible with sunrise and sunset, strengthening your body's inner clock. These practices help rebuild harmony between individual life and the cosmic order shaping it. And once you recognize that your life continually runs within these cycles, a larger truth begins to surface. You are not moving through them alone, but are woven into a larger system where every action carries significance. What if reality itself is best understood as a web of connection, where each movement reverberates across the strands? Our actions send ripples through our relationships and communities, and because of the principle of correspondence, where the micro mirrors the macro, inner shifts can affect both social and environmental patterns. Modern culture often teaches that choices matter only in isolation, but this overlooks how deeply intertwined human life is with the greater whole. The principle of correspondence stretches far beyond personal growth. The ways you handle conflict in your home reflect how societies navigate diplomacy. Struggles over fairness in your own life often mirror debates about justice in politics. Collective economic systems too tend to echo individual beliefs. When many people carry scarcity mindsets, financial structures reflect competition and lack. In contrast, cultivating inner discipline or a sense of abundance often expresses itself as more balanced consumer habits and civil cooperation. Even widespread environmental crises can be traced back to our inner relationship with desire, consumption, and sustainability. This alignment reveals a simple truth. Harmony within creates order without. A person who practices inner calm often fosters calmer environments. When you radiate empathy, it naturally shapes the way you treat others, from close relationships to community interactions. Choosing mindful consumption or reducing waste is not just a lifestyle issue. It reflects an inner respect for balance that ripples outward into the system sustaining life. The Hermetic idea of polarity offers further insight. Opposites like light and dark, expansion and contraction, or individual and collective may appear as contradictions. But within this framework, they are complementary. Each defines the other, and both are needed for wholeness. Non-duality emphasizes this unity, reminding us that separation is often an illusion. Recognizing polarity allows you to respond to tension without collapsing into moral binaries, seeing differences as parts of a larger truth rather than battles to be won. Small actions show this daily. Meeting frustration with patience changes the atmosphere around you. Purchasing sustainably shapes the structures that support ecological balance. Listening deeply creates bridges where division once stood. These choices may seem minor, yet they participate in expanding harmony far beyond immediate circumstances. Your inner practice isn't just personal gain, it quietly changes the field everyone shares. And from this understanding, the next question becomes practical. How can you work with these principles in your daily life so that inner change transforms the world around you? Practical alchemy for everyday transformation begins with small, intentional steps that bring cosmic principles directly into your daily decisions. Instead of chasing abstract theories, you can engage with simple practices that build awareness of the patterns linking your inner state with what unfolds around you. These don't require hours or elaborate rituals, just a few consistent minutes practiced regularly. Start with mindful observation. For 3 minutes, sit quietly and focus on your breath. Recall a recurring challenge, such as feeling unappreciated or struggling with boundaries. Notice the first thought that surfaces. Then allow yourself to simply observe without judgment. After 60 seconds of breathing, write one sentence about what you noticed. This brief pause trains the mind to recognize repeating currents in your life instead of reacting automatically. Journaling provides the structure to identify correspondences more clearly. Draw 2 columns. On the left, record your internal state, thoughts, emotions, or worries. On the right, log external events that follow in your day or week. For example, you might write fear about money on the left and later notice unexpected expense on the right. Track this for 2 weeks and clear patterns will emerge. These insights show you how inner beliefs call forth repeating experiences, offering clear points for reframing and change. Visualization focuses this process forward. Spend a few minutes imagining a goal as though it has already unfolded. Picture yourself speaking calmly in a challenging conversation or opening an email with positive news. Engage your senses, see the scene, hear the words, feel the emotions. Neuroscience shows the brain responds to vivid imagery as if it were real, laying down pathways that make new responses and outcomes more natural over time. If you choose to explore tools like tarot or astrology, use them as mirrors for current patterns rather than predictors of fixed destiny. A spread of cards or a planetary transit can highlight where your attention might focus and reveal dynamics already active within you. These systems are guides for reflection and decision-making, not scripts for an unchangeable future. Each of these practices demonstrates the principle of correspondence on a human scale, Inner clarity gradually reshapes outer life. As your awareness deepens, the transformation becomes visible, not just in thoughts and feelings, but in concrete choices, relationships, and opportunities. With this foundation in place, you can see more clearly how your own body and mind already participate in the universal design. The teachings of correspondence remind us that transformation begins with what you notice each day. Your body holds echoes of cosmic patterns, and your mind continues to shape reality through the choices you make. Growth is not isolated to you alone. Your small shifts participate in a larger pattern of transformation. It's one way the cosmos expresses and learns through us. To begin, choose one repeating pattern in your life and observe it for 3 days. Using the 2-column journaling method, share one observation or question in the comments so others can reflect and learn alongside you. If this exploration resonated, subscribe for more grounded, research-based guides to living these principles. Remember, alchemy was never just about metals. It was about transmuting the inner lead of fear and inertia into the gold of clarity and freedom. That lifelong work begins with a single conscious observation. You've just received a formula for practical magic. But any good spell requires consistent practice and a community of fellow seekers. If you want to keep refining your craft, subscribe for more guides. And let us know you're weaving this wisdom into your life by dropping a like. It's the digital equivalent of an alchemical sigil, marking your intent to learn and grow.